Welcome to Conversations with Lauren and Ali, where we bridge all things in the spiritual and human experience.
This is a space where raw honesty meets higher truth, where personal stories open doors to deeper self-awareness, and where the messy, magical journey of being human is honoured as a sacred path of awakening. So, take a breath, get cozy, and join us in today's conversation.
Totally is. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that it's just there's a key. I don't know what it is, but it just feels like this is a key. That's what I'm hearing right now. This is a key. We have the key.
Yeah.
We have that key, and that was a message that came through from my guides a couple of weeks ago. Is just really remembering that we hold the key to our personal liberation, our the freedom and personal freedom and liberation. And only we can choose that.
Yeah.
Only we can choose that. And
We're the
we
one with the
choose
key.
that. Yeah. And then we choose that by also taking the action to complement that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're physical beings and we need to do that physically.
Yeah. It just feels like the journey, part of the journey is remembering that we have the key, maybe,
Yeah.
and acknowledging that we have that key. Yeah. And remembering how to use it.
Yeah. 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 And remembering that we might have given it to somebody else. So take that key back, or
Yeah.
situation or experience, take the key back.
Yes. Yeah.
You might have more than
Liberation.
one
Yeah.
key. You might have more than one key,
Yeah.
but taking it back. And I even feel like in this moment, it's like you might have to sit with it a little bit, because that might feel confronting for those that are. I mean, look, I've walked a path of victimhood.
Mm.
And I was in that for really many, many,
Hmm.
many, many years. And so I speak also from personal experience, where I had to sit with that knowing before I even was ready to take any action, to making different choices and choosing, because just knowing I had been playing this, casting myself in and sitting in this victimhood,
Mm.
like even now I can feel that part of me that she really, that was a lot for her to just take in. She had to sit with that for a while before she could pick that key up and do something with it, but she did. And she continues to do so.
Yeah, because once you've moved through that threshold, it's done. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You've moved through it, and it's like the nervous system and the body goes, "Oh, okay, we've done this. We can do this," and it becomes a lot more effortless. Effortless, yeah.
And
Um,
freeing, doesn't it?
yeah, that's
It feels
liberation, like you
freeing.
said.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
you know what? You've actually just reminded me when you were talking then about my interaction yesterday, back to the speeding ticket with the police, and the victimhood that I experienced and felt with being a police
Mm,
officer at the end of my career. There was
mm,
a lot of things that went down when I was sort of on my way out, and then a big long process after exiting. I felt like they judged me, they hated me. I was a victim. And so just hearing you speak about that then, and me even acknowledging before, yeah, I've moved through victimhood a lot already. Um, I think that a little piece just dropped in for me too around, no, you're not a victim, and no, the police force does not have any power over you anymore in the way that I used to feel, with the way that I
mm.
was treated at the end of my career, and having PTSD as a result of my work in that job and the things I experienced. I think it just felt like I actually that happened yesterday. I something
Mhm,
was
mhm.
something shifted,
Interesting.
something big, and that's probably why my interaction had to be with the cops to learn that lesson and to witness that shift, is like,
Mhm.
yeah, there's no feeling of powerlessness anymore.
I love that.
So thank
Witnessing you in
you.
that.
Yeah,
Witnessing you in that.
thanks.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, look, there's a lot to the victim though, isn't there? Because there's also different um I don't want to minimize as well people who have been
No.
victims in
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
there's varying scales to that. So I
Such
don't
a
want to
broad spectrum.
minimize that in
Yeah.
in any way. But I think that for the majority of the collective, it's just a nice place to sit because we don't have to take responsibility or be accountable.
Yeah.
Um, and we can play that game of this is happening to me, not for me.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things I come back to. I love that sort of, I don't know if it's a quote from Rebecca Campbell, but I always resonated a lot with that on her Work Your Light deck with the cracking open about this is happening for me, not to
Yeah.
me.
Hmm.
Because I think that actually helped me a lot moving out of that victimhood of like seeing it
Yes.
as, okay, this is happening for me, which
Hmm.
takes me back to what I was saying about yesterday of just this feeling into, okay, well, this is happening for me. So what is being shown here? What am I
Yeah.
being shown here?
Yep.
Or how am I honoring myself here? Or, what am I embodying here? Or whatever the questions need to
Yes.
be.
Yes. That I think once you have embodied that quote, like you said, that's so powerful that
Mm.
this is happening for me, not to me. That's one of those keys I think that you spoke about before, you
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
there comes a point I think like that's a quite a common, there's a common understanding around that. And especially in our like this from the spiritual
Mhm.
community is
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
having that understanding. It changes so much, doesn't it? It's a
Mhm.
really, really powerful and it does just that in itself, I think really does, like you said, and you experienced, it helps take you out of victim mode when you change
Yeah.
your rewire your thinking around that. Because I can absolutely cast my mind back to times when I didn't think like that, and you just experience reality in a whole different way, don't you? When you,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, like you sometimes you feel like the whole world's against you, or you're just
Mhm.
constantly being attacked, and why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, that's what we're creating because the thoughts, our energy, our focus is directed on that.
So it just keeps
It just keeps
snowballing.
happening. And
Yeah.
of course, if we think about that, well, if it's happening for me, what's that continual reflection showing? I mean, that's what patterns are, isn't it? Or
Mm.
triggers are. The experience, life is always showing us
Yeah.
what we need to witness
Hmm.
in as a I don't necessarily think we always have to do anything with anything, but the witnessing piece, because it's accountability, it's responsibility and acceptance in that
Hmm.
witness, and allow it to move through you and not let it continue to build and create the experience that you're having.
Yeah.
Because I think that's when we also our subconscious mind gets proven right. It's like, see, you're the victim. See, this is
Hmm.
always happening to you. See, and it keeps you stuck.
Yeah.
It's that it's like going on the hamster wheel with that
It
because the
is.
evidence continually coming in is
I
reinforcing that
know.
story.
And when we say silly things that, oh, bad things come in threes and all that kind of thing, and you're literally waiting for the next thing to, your washing machine blows up, your fridge blows up, and you're like, okay, what's coming next? Like we have all of these distorted beliefs programmed into us.
Mhm.
That's just is what exacerbates everything and keeps
Yeah.
you in that on that wheel.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
So this is an invitation that, as challenging as it feels right now, choosing to step off the wheel,
Mm,
choosing to step out of the drama triangle as the victim, and choosing just to meet yourself with gentle compassion, acceptance, curiosity, and inviting in the understanding that you can actually shift this and create this differently. And the power starts with the choosing. For me, it's the choice point. That's
yeah.
where it starts.
Yeah. Yeah.
and you can continually choose. That's the beauty of it,
Hmm.
and why we kind of also need to deprogram from right or wrong or good or bad. And this is what my guides say to me all the time when I ask a question. It's like, do I do this or do I not? And it's like, but you can do both. You can do both. Like, what do you want to do? What is the experience that you want to have?
Yeah.
Because there's actually no right or wrong there. And I've been really noticing how that's coming forward for me. So it's less passiveness too, of like asking my guides, what am
Uh-huh.
I doing? What am I? And it's like, well, what do you want to do? What feels good? Because each path is going to offer you something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you choose what is lighting you up the most right now and
Hmm.
go all in on it, right? Because that's the key. That's the key. And I'm learning this right now because it's the piece that I've been wavering on is when you make that choice and you go all in, it's holding the frequency at that.
Hmm.
It's maintaining the frequency in alignment with that
Yeah.
choice,
Yeah.
but also understanding that maybe it didn't work out the way you wanted it to,
Yeah.
maybe it didn't feel the way you wanted to. And it's okay because what are you going to do? Well, your power is you just choose something else and maybe you go this way,
That's it.
maybe make another choice. But we're really reprogramming or deprogramming, I believe, um, from this idea of success and failure, good or bad, right or wrong. And again, it's
Totally.
broadening that everything is an experience. Everything is an experience.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
playing that big game of life.
We are. We are. Yeah. And I think we, like you said, when you choose something and you go all in on it, that's the energy that's behind it. And even if it doesn't turn out the way that you thought
Mhm,
it would or that you desired it to, there's still a recalibration there, a frequency recalibration, if you like, where you get to experience what it feels like to really follow that fire,
mhm, mhm.
even if it goes nowhere, whatever it is that you're creating or trying to achieve or whatever it is. But there's a recalibration to that. There's an embodiment or an integration of that frequency that you're
Absolutely.
working with, and that in itself is expansion. And
Mhm.
my higher self shared something with me very randomly the other day, which kind of touches on this as well. You talking about things being right or wrong, or this is the way she put it. Everything just is, and you just are. And she
Mm,
kept repeating it. Everything just is, and you just are. I was like, oh my God, okay, like what does that mean, And she showed me everything is just a frequency.
mhm,
So there is no negative, there is no positive, there is no higher, there is no lower. And this is where, like sometimes when we're talking about 3D and 4D and 5D, like,
mm,
I don't, it's
mhm.
sometimes it's hard not to use those terms because that's how people understand it. And when you're trying to explain something, but I don't use those terms very often these days because something doesn't feel quite right about it. Um, but that's kind of what she was explaining was there actually is no higher or lower. Everything
Mhm.
just is. And the way she showed me was that everything is just a frequency. So I could see all of these, if you imagine like an electrical current or like a
Yeah.
frequency current, and they were all overlaid. So they were all over the top of each other, just different colors. One was pink, one was
Mhm.
blue, one was green. They just looked different. They were a different color, they were a different frequency. But what she was kind of trying to say was nothing is above the other. They just
Mm,
are. Everything
I
just
love that.
is, just like you are. You just are, you know.
Mm,
I
mhm.
don't know if that makes sense, but
No,
but
it
it's quite
absolutely does.
profound. Yeah,
Mhm,
when
mhm.
that dropped in. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
just
super interesting. Yeah, it's super interesting as well because a few weeks ago, um, I had been brought back to as well. It is what it is. Like, I
yeah.
forget what the context was, but it came to me in that way. Now, I had a little bit of a trigger to that because I used to feel that and hold that and be with an experience of like, well, it just is what it is. But I
Mm,
had somebody in my life who thought that was very passive and that was bypassing
yeah.
and victimy. And yes, it could be,
Yeah.
absolutely could be, but it wasn't the frequency that I was sitting in. And
No.
so it was interesting that my higher self had me come back to this and reminded me that that's the energy. It is what like an experience. It is what it is.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I love that because that ties in really well to what you're saying, and I think what we're talking about here ultimately
Is it,
today.
it's acceptance.
Yes.
It is. It's acceptance, isn't it?
Mhm,
It's
mhm,
neutrality almost.
mhm,
It's when we talk about the 0 point field and a neutral perspective, that
mm,
oneness, all of it ties in. It's like
right.
everything's here, and it's just comes down to how we receive it or perceive it, or yeah.
So the opportunity to move away from that duality perspective, I think, is really present for us all at the moment. And I
Yes.
know for me, I'm feeling it really, like I have been since probably New Zealand. It's been really front and center.
Mm.
And I know it can be confronting for a lot of people to start to see and feel this way. But
Yes.
that's why I feel like these conversations
Yeah.
are probably really important because it's just bringing that first step of awareness, the awareness to it,
Yeah.
sitting with that for a bit, and then moving into that next piece of
Hmm.
responsibility and action and choice.
Yes, because I've this is something this whole thing is something that I've been moving through, really trying to land back in my human and in my humanity and my physicality this year, and with a little less focus on the spiritual work, or yeah, focusing on things sort of outside of me, or receiving more stuff, or whatever it is. There's been a real focus on bringing everything sort of really back to ground level. And I think a lot of people hit that point, and it's very, like you said, it's confronting, it's confusing, because you feel like, oh, so like, who am I now? Like, I feel like I don't resonate with so much of the stuff that I used to, or I just don't
Mhm.
have that intrigue, or that curiosity, or that yearning to like learn more and know more, or it's a really bizarre experience.
Mm.
And there's so many people that are going through it, and I think, like you said, it is good that we speak about it, because somebody might hear this and go, oh, okay, you know, there is other people going through this. I'm not on my own here.
No, and maybe it's also going to come at a time where instead of turning back, where they maybe have always turned back and just kept entered that loop, they'll
Yeah.
step into the spiral and
Yeah.
choose this different path.
Yes. And we've spoken about this since New Zealand, because New Zealand for us was so much around unity consciousness, personally, both of us, and
Mhm.
collectively, it's very much internal and sort of external, in all the ways. And I think this plays into it as well, because, like you said, there's a certain connection to duality still, which we're always going to experience while we're here on Earth,
Mhm.
in a physical body. Um, but I think that's why certain words and themes and topics in the sort of spiritual realm of things sometimes make me feel like I just don't align with them anymore, because they, to me, and where I am right now, hold the energy of division, or I feel like it is creating a sense of division, like, oh, one person's in 5D and one person's in 3D. Like, who the fuck is anyone to say that? Do you know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, or, this person's a starseed and this person's not, or just stuff like that. A lot of things like that really, they're really, when you're in this place of really coming into a deeper acceptance of oneness, I think, and unity
Mhm.
consciousness, is that, we have to be really mindful of the way we put labels on things, and even identify, like, we identify with things and
Mhm.
labels. And because I've been there, I've done
Yeah,
that.
we've all
I
done that. That's, yeah,
Yeah. And I'm
human
sure I
101,
still
I think.
have, yeah, still have labels. Like, maybe that's why I get so weird when people ask me, what do you do? What do you
Yes.
actually do? And I'm like, well, I don't really like to have a label. My name's Lauren. I'm a human and you know, it's I don't know, that's a big topic in itself to talk about, and that itself could create some division because everybody's at different points in their journey and it's
Mm. And they will be, because probably many of us are going to have different experiences within
yes.
what you're just speaking about. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And for those that are listening to us, though, this is important for you, because the fact that you're listening to us means that you know that you have a capacity to be the creator or creatrix of your life.
Mm.
And part of that means bringing in that self awareness, self responsibility, self acceptance piece, and remembering yourself as a sovereign being that
Hmm.
is here having that human experience. So, weaving, it is what it is sometimes.
It
It
is
is what
what it
it
is.
is. And
That's
everything
it.
just is, as you,
That's
I
it.
forget what you said, but yeah.
Everything, yeah,
What did you say?
everything just is, and you just are, or
You
something like
just
that.
are. That's what
Yeah.
it was. You just are. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's that
Because I
I
think,
am, isn't it? I
yeah,
am.
well, I was just going to say, to me, that diffuses some of that, you know, labeling and boxing and
Yes, you just
identifying.
are.
You just are. To me, it felt like, yep, that's it. It's neutral. It's
You're
here.
everything
It's,
and nothing. You're neutral.
yeah,
Yeah, you're not good, you're not bad, you're not,
yeah.
stop putting labels on things. We love to label everything, don't we? But I said that's the way we
Too much.
understand. Yeah, that's the way we have to comprehend things sometimes. But I think as we've been talking about, self-accountability and responsibility, and then coming into that sort of self-acceptance, when we come into self-acceptance, we move into that more neutral state, the way we see ourselves, the way we feel about ourselves, perceive ourselves, but we also come into it, we're more accepting of others as well, and
Mm,
the way
yes.
we
Hmm.
perceive others. And so that's why I think maybe why I have these issues with some of these things that I feel like are divisive, or one feels better than another or above another, or people see it that way. It's almost like, well, when you accept yourself, you accept others. Like there isn't division. Everyone
Mm,
just is.
yeah. Which was that? Remember, we were talking about this. I don't know how long ago it was now, because you've just prompted me to remember. I just had this really strong feeling of, and I think that was before New Zealand, of why can't we just let people be in their truth and express themselves
Yeah.
as their truth?
This was
Like,
a
why
couple
do
of
we?
weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, why do we always feel we need to do that? So that's just reminded me
Mm.
of how that weaves in, how
Yeah.
all of this weaves into that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you for another illuminating conversation.
Yes. Thank you.
Because I also feel that it's really helped me, just even in speaking through this, just to continue to really embody what I'm feeling right now. And hopefully it's the same for you.
Yeah. No, yeah, me
Mm.
too. Me too. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us in this space of truth, reflection, and connection. If today's conversation stirred something within you, we invite you to sit with it, journal on it, or share it with someone who walks the path of self-awareness too.
These conversations are living transmissions, and we are so grateful to be on this journey with you. Until next time, remember your human experience is sacred and you are never walking alone.
With love, Lauren.
And Ali.